He's somebody you can trust. He's somebody you can like. Bola has given some people stupendous amount of money to help them out of a crisis that I know some firsthand, without expecting, ordinarily for you, without expecting anything. But you see, the thing with Bola Tinubu is that he has a gift. I think it has to be a gift from God. He can see in you a future returns for himself in advance. But suddenly, I don't know what has happened. He has lost his soul.
He has lost his soul?
Yeah, because he has lost his soul. Having come to this government, he has lost his soul. I normally would decline commenting about Nasru because we're in the university together.
Oh, you were in ABU together?
Yeah, well, I was a senior, but it was a survey department, I was an electrical engineering department. And so I know quite, even at that time, some of his idiosyncrasies, some of his character flaws. He's somebody we used to call him Nasru Giant. Where I smelled a rat is this, when Chief of Staff did a press conference disowning this agency. It's not his duty to disown agencies, okay? And then the chief press secretary to the president goes also to defend his position. I smelled a fish. Definitely, Atiku will lose. He will, and I pray he loses. I'm not the only one, and he will lose. Peter Obi will try to be fair to everybody. Peter Obi will try to do that which is right. Peter Obi, Kwankwaso, take note, I'm pairing them individually to be disaster, but I'm pairing them. So I'll give them on my own scale, they'll be close to like 70%. And again, Bola, 50, Atiku, 0. In that order. Why do you call it personal?
Let me put you on the spot. If Rotimi Amechi had clinched the ticket, compare him to all these other people.
Well, it's just unfortunate that because of his maybe personal excessive ambition, he decides to pair with the devil. But I have nothing against him. Overall, my assessment of him as a human being, as a person, is positive. But as a leader, I don't know. Because he's brash, he's something like that. He's another version of Wike, almost Polish, but better than Wike. But
this is Niger Unfiltered on Symphony TV. My name is Olawale Oluwade, and my guest today is a one-time secretary to the government of the Federation of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Engineer Babachir David Lawal. Sir, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Wale. Good afternoon.
You're welcome to the show.
Thank
you. This
you.
is your debut.
Yeah,
you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Sir.
There's so much going on in our policy, so we needed to hear your views on some of these issues. And then let me start with the President Bola Tinubu administration. Can you give us your own assessment of their 3 years in office? 3 years and I think about 2 months now, in terms of insecurity, the economy, and all of those. What's your assessment, sir?
In one word, it's a failure. That's what it is, in one word. The people are running the government don't seem to be people who like and who love the country. There are people who love themselves. I don't think they even love their relations. So everybody is on his own for himself. That type of a mindset cannot give you good governance. The citizens are complaining, east, west, north, south. Everybody is bitter that life is tough, no matter which position you find yourself in. Life is tough for the ordinary man on the street. Life is tough for the minister whose capital projects are not funded. So, in a nutshell, it's a failed government.
The government spokesperson or supporters of the government will say that you are the SGF in the government of the immediate predecessor to the Tinubu government, that you do not have the bona fides to speak about them. That in fact, some say the Buhari government was a total failure, blah, blah, blah. That Tinubu is trying to rebuild what Buhari government destroyed. How do you respond to that?
Well, yes, they are free to. It's a free country. It's so far. It's a freedom of speech so far, though it's being eroded gradually. But so they are free to say what they want. But yes, agreed. Bola Tinubu says he's rebuilding on the what Buhari left, but he's building backwards, not forward. The essence of government is when you come in, you take over from another government, you make sure you progress in the positive direction. But the fact that they chose to go in the opposite direction, it's a continuation of Buhari government, but opposite direction. It's total calamity. Yeah, that's the way I see it today.
But let me also ask you, sir, you know President Tinubu very well. You are his friend. According to your own records, you said on record. He's a very good friend.
He says it too.
Exactly. So how do you explain that your friend is performing below? Did you expect him to perform like this?
If somebody from far away, Adamawa State, is able to be a Kilba man from far away, Adamawa State, is able to be friend to somebody, a cosmopolitan boy from Lagos. It means there's something positive that they see in each other, isn't it? I've said it before that Bola Tinubu has two, as I can categorize to my knowledge, two faces of his life. Before he became president, he was an excellent human being. I mean, I used to give Bola Tinubu, who does not tolerate your suffering as a friend. If you're in problems, you go to whatever length it's possible to solve your problem. He's listening, he takes advice, and he's kind. In that regard, I used to say that they have the same quality of character with Buhari. Buhari is also like that, very kind, very sympathetic to somebody in trouble, and positive in the way to want to help. Bola was an excellent human being. He goes to become president, and something happened. And I know the time he changed, and I told him, I'm sure if he's listening, he will know. I predicted what will happen. After some time, around 2022, going forward, he almost relocated to Kaduna, to Abuja, close to the seat of power, I suspect to, pursue his political ambitions. Now, the poor man, good man from Lagos, comes to Abuja and runs into a country with different people, with different upbringing, with different cultural backgrounds, and they surrounded him. I can tell you, our people, particularly the Northerners, that were his friend while he was in Lagos remotely, they now caged the poor man. I think introduce some characters, induce him to do certain things that he would not do while in Lagos. At that point, he was consumed by this ambition to be president. They keep on telling him, we will make you president. We are Northerners, we are Fulani, we are Hausa people, we know Buhari, we know this, we know this. And they introduce him to these religious bigots and so on and so forth. So I classify it as if from that position, he started changing. I think I was closest to him anyway while he was in Abuja. I had access to him. I mean, truly, he was, we're quite close in the political scene. And my boss, late Buhari, used to tell me, this man says you are his best friend. Sometimes that's when sometimes I suspect Buhari is trying to distance himself from the man. I would go and meet him and say, okay, this man, you can't do what you are trying to do. These are people. You know what happened when you and I agreed to. I told you that we cannot win general elections the way we are going about. Always win the North 19 states. We get 0 from the South. You can never be president. Why don't we go out and look?
Okay, guys. So the space I talked about yesterday is on now. So we're going to come to Babachir Lawal's interview shortly. After this, okay? I need us to listen to this. The trust question, Nigerian media targets Igbos to fuel hate and division. I completely agree. All right, so let me do this.
And go and pull out the.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what happened there.
The current landscape. You then start doing this profiling thing, and we make it look as though there is only one copy of history out there. No, there are multiple copies of history out there. Do you do this profiling? So they are not people who are senseless. Right? Like I made a tweet. I'm going to. I was saying, look, when you make these statements on national TV, and then in the same vein you say, one Nigeria. In the same vein, we should be united. Bro, do you think you are sleek? In one vein, you are profiling people. In one vein, you are doing what they call indirect ethnic whistling. In that same vein, you are talking about unity and progress. I don't think people understand. Maybe they do, and they're just being mischievous, right? Because again, like I said, I'm going to look for it. You do something the first time, it's a mistake. You do it the second time, it's maybe coincidence. By the third time, it becomes a pattern. What the fuck are you actually doing, right? And it's not as if things should not be discussed, but question, right? When you are, when you're having discussion, I think it's the Rotary Club that said it. I'll look for that, like this, their tenets or something, where they said you can choose to recognize a truth, right? For example, let's say, I don't know, child is not doing well in school. You can decide to come up to your child and say, because you're not doing well, you'll never amount to anything in life, right? That's one way to phrase that conversation you're having with the child. As opposed to doing well in school, this is how we go, this is how we go. Both of them are based on a version of truth, but you see how I was able to go two directions from that same statement, right? So again, just to recap my 2 points, and I'll come back again. First of all, is what to do on this space is what the Nigerian media should be doing. It's what the presidency should be doing. It's what the National Orientation Agency should be doing. It's what they should have done way back when.
Be doing it. Ministry of Information should be doing it, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah, and then extended from that.
Belele, are you there?
I don't cut. I be like, I don't cut. I don't
Belele,
cut.
we can't hear you anymore.
No, I can hear Belele.
Welcome. I need you to hear me.
To drive out from under that substation, the generation interferes with your RF.
Tudo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think Tudo lost us for a moment.
All right.
I think he has this substation where he goes to park on that think about his life. Whenever he parks there, he stops hearing us. So yes, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, right? At some point, like, bro, you are not being sleek. You are not. We know what you are doing. We can see through you. Jesus. It's like this. So I think in that calculation, Peter is like 5 years or 6 years. Fuck, if he was 10 years old, even if he was, you know what, even if he was 15 years old, Tudo, you need to just drive out from that region, man.
I'm sitting in my fucking bedroom. There are no flyovers, there are no substations.
Oh, wow. No,
this is exclusion. Tudo is another earthquake about to happen. It's another earthquake or tremor about to happen.
If I die,
nah, don't calm down, Joe. You're talking to a man from Benue. The bandits have probably destroyed the communication infrastructure in his country, in his state. I beg, Tudo, if you're not hearing me, it's okay. People from Abia State can hear me. Let me just carry on. Wait till that.
Dr. O has made a very important point. I live in an earthquake-prone part of the world. If I die in an earthquake, guys, this is my final word.
One just happened in Japan yesterday. 7.1.
I know.
7.1 magnitude.
If anything happens to
me,
guys, continue the space. I ain't mad at you.
Yeah, I just want to mention places in this world where earthquakes happen and they don't take lives, right? I just want to throw that out there. There are places in this world where reinforce and they don't take. Don't you are giving me 100, Dr. Oye, your house in those states. Lights they take.
They meet your mic.
Sorry, Dr. Oye, my guy. Sorry.
Hold on, Belele. No vex, I beg. I want to quickly go back to lab. I just want to say something quickly. The guys on the space, please don't be angry. Belele, the angle you came from, right? I'm even disappointed that you came out from that angle. And to the angle you came from as well, I'm also disappointed. The angle I want every Nigerian to start thinking about is about this so-called Nigerian civil war. Can Nigerians trust the Igbos? It's simple. Did the Igbos fight a civil war by themselves? The civil war.
Don't want to go in that direction.
No, hold on. Wait first.
There'll be counter narrative. That's why the space is curated as it is.
Hold on. Get my point. Because this is on the issue of trust, right? Our discussion is on the issue of the trust question. Can Nigerians trust the Igbos? And I'm asking Nigerians to ask, before in your head you ask this question, ask yourself the first question: did the Igbos fight a civil war by themselves, or there was an opposing entity that fought that civil war with the Igbos? That's number one. Number two, who was the first to attack? Because in the history books, I know when Ojukwu declared Biafra as a country, they did not fight Nigeria. It was the Nigerian soldiers deployed by Yakubu Gowon that started that war. So asking that, can the Igbos trust Nigerians? Sorry, can Nigerians trust the Igbos? Just these things the media, the Nigerian media, especially those from the West, continue to push to divide the country, some of the Northerners as well. So we have to make them understand that the Igbos did not shoot the first gun. The Igbos did not attack first. They had the right to want to be part of this country since you guys don't want to do what is right. But the Yakubu Gowon-led forces were the first to trigger whatever happened and the escalation of the whole war that claimed innocent Nigerians that shouldn't have been killed in that war. And lastly, Tudu, I want to ask, I don't know if Ushin Okibaloye and his minions are on this space listening, or whoever can get this information to you. I dare him, the next time he has the chance to interview either Tinubu or Atiku, I dare him to ask them. I dare him to ask them the same question. If Nigerians can trust their ethnic group, number one. Number two, I dare him to also ask them what they think about Fulani terrorists, Boko Haram terrorists, and the Oduduwa People's Congress, who are also based in the South, depending on who they are interviewing. And lastly, I dare him to ask them the trust Nigerians have reposed on them as their tribe, Yoruba or Fulani, how have they used that trust to better the lives of Nigerians? Because hey, Obasanjo is a Yoruba man, 8 freaking years, plus VP Osibanjo another 8 years, and 4 years of Tinubu have become poorer in those administrations. Fulani man, you go to Buhari, and today you have maybe Kanuri Fulani, Shetima, they did the country 1999, if we have to count from 1999, and Nigerians have become poorer. What have those trusts that Nigerians had on those ethnic groups that have led this country benefited Nigerians in general? Those are the questions I want Shehu and Abati to ask Tinubu and Atiku if they ever have the chance, because I know they will not come for interview. Thank you, Tudo. No vex. Let me go back to listening mode. Tudo, are you there?
No, I'm there.
Thank you. Are you there?
No, sorry. I was trying to reply in real quick. Thank you. So, Dr. O, yes, you are absolutely correct. Everything that you said. We all know the history, but we have come to a time in our country where people don't care about the history. Do you see it? It doesn't matter what you say. They do not give a fuck. Somebody, please, before I continue, I've tagged all the Nigerian, both the majority ones, media houses. I tagged NTA under the post. I tagged Arise. I tagged us. And listen, so that the next time you have a interview, Peter Obi or any other Igbo, a politician of Igbo, you know not to go there again. You know that you will not be asking that question in 2026. Goal, that is the objective of this space. Okay? Because Dr. O, this thing where you just now, all of us know say not true talk. But believe me, by the time my Yoruba Ronu people show up now, they're not my Ronu people, but I would say my fellow Yorubas, let me put it that way, who sometimes even the most educated of them.
So do you see what happened now? They've bullied you now to redefine Ronu. They've bullied you to redefine Ronu. Ronu that is a good word. They don't bully you. Oh, carry on.
They have owned the word. You know, they've owned it. It's now their own. A word that used to mean something else. Anyways, let's remember that the Igbos were not, since we're talking history, were not the first to demand or threaten action. They were not the first, right? The very first people in Nigeria to demand secession were the Northerners. Northerners were the first, right, to demand secession, 1953. No, it's there in history. We trust them. Should we trust anyone from the north because they were the first to threaten secession, right? That was even pre-independence. You fast forward to, I don't know, let's see. I think there was a Lagos crisis, 1953-54, and then we had a threat, a secessionist threat from the western region. The Yorubas also threatened secession from Nigeria. Can we trust them? Should we trust Yoruba people? Because they also threatened secession. How about South-South? Let's go to South-South. Isaac Adakaboro, 1966. He threatened secession with the Ijaw group. He threatened secession. Can we trust them? Can we trust Wike people and all the South Southerners, right? Can we trust them and all the Ijaw? Can we trust them? I mean, how about my brother, 1990, Oka? I mean, with this badass coup that he organized. In fact, that guy announced on national radio, he pretty much divided Nigeria in that announcement. I remember listening to that radio, to that announcement as a kid. Felt like I remember where I was, my ears glued to the radio. Fellow Nigerians, blah, blah, blah. And for those who may not know the script that he read, it's online. Just go and read it. This nigga practically divided Nigeria. Can we trust Middle Beltans? Can we trust Benue people? Where does this stop is the question, right? This profiling must end. This is 2026. Peter Obi was 6 years old in 1966. That is the truth. He was a kid. And he's running for office in 2026, right? And you tell him to look into the cameras and assure some people in the north that he can be trusted. Come on, man. With everything that this man has done, aside from his own personal achievements as an individual.
Nah, Tudo, don't even go there, man. Tudo, don't even go there. Even if a criminal like the rest, even if he was forfeiting drug money, even if he was involved in the PTDF scam, even if he was a criminal like the rest, you have no fucking right to profile him because you are not ethnically profiling all the other criminals. Like, what kind of stupid question is that?
No, exactly. You can. Can you ask Atiku Abubakar? You can trust him because his people, the Fulani people, are going around killing. They are genocide people in the Middle Belt. Can we trust Fulani people? Will Shehu Okibaloye be bold enough to trust you? Can we trust you that if you gain power, your people will not run over this country? They are threatened. They are threatened, right? They are threatened. Kind of like from the river to the sea. Is that what the gas equivalent of that?
Is the deep the Quran, the Atlantic or some shit?
They're going to go
somebody out there. Yeah.
That was what Kwankwaso said. The moment you get to the Atlantic Ocean, it is over. It is over. That was what he said in that interview. So, can Shehu Okibaloye look at, forget that this is Sizzle, can he look at Atiku Abubakar in the face in an interview and say, you are a Fulani man? Can Nigerians trust you? Because after all, your people, Fulanis, are the ones killing Nigerians, massacring Nigerians all around, everywhere, all around the country. Can we trust you? I need to do that. I dare Shehu Okibaloye to ask Atiku that question, but he can't. He can't because he's a fucking coward. But the only people you do that shit to are the Igbos. And we're saying this ethnic profiling must stop. This is fucking 2026. Where does this stop? Peter Obi in 1966. He was a kid. He had no clue at all. He was probably maybe running, I don't know the story, I've never heard him share it, but I'm guessing he was probably escaping bombs or bullets or running somewhere at that time.
Even if he was 20 years old, what is his fucking business?
Exactly.
What is Atiku's business with the people, his kinsmen that run around killing? This this argument, he really, because I'm thinking to myself, like I said, I was saying this on 10, I think it was 10 over 10 space or the other ladies, but I was like, if you really drill this thing down, this can actually reeks of both cowardice and a form of stupidity that you cannot really put your hand on. What are you doing? That's what it begs people to ask you. What exactly are you doing? We can see what you are doing, but grown ass man, you should be able to think, what are you doing? Now my phone down the low. Wait, make a quick charge. You know, say us with that stay we forget to charge our phone. I did come to the
Before I yield, I'm going to yield to Omoye in a second. Please, I see all of my friends there. This is like the Champions League of, you know, me by myself here. I see all my friends on the space. Please, guys, come up, especially my Indigo friends. I need you guys to step up. 10 over 10, my brother, I see you there. Hydra is here. H.A. Zona. Yeah, Jagun.
Make I talk this one quick before extraordinary woman go.
Okay,
Good afternoon, my brother.
Hang on, please. I'll yield back to you. I just want to make some roll. I just want to do some housekeeping stuff here. Ekwensu, you over there. Ekwensu, step up. I see Chris. No, Chris, you're not. You don't belong.
Chris is a minority.
He's full of shit. He's full of shit.
He's me
Chris is full of shit.
In the system. All right, Jack, go ahead and then we'll yield to Omar.
Yeah, man. See, first establish that the legacy media is compromised. The fourth realm of the S is compromised. Let's establish that realm is gone. It is we that are here, and the rest of the social media platforms that is the news now. Tudor bands, the truth don't make our legacy media dashboards anymore. The news is never the truth. The truth is never the news these days with them. So whatever Shehu Okinbaloye came out to do is definitely out of all of the scripts he's been playing. Remember, politics to life has been drilled down to Peter Obi life with Shehu Okinbaloye. Anytime he's asking anybody, any politician, any question at all, he's always, having that, waiting for that cue to fix the question about Peter Obi into it. Like, I just stepped out of my toilet, and he will be like, how do you think he will be stepping out of his toilet this morning? That is Shehu Okinbaloye for you. So coming to that 2 hours, bro, is still the template given to Shehu to always follow through. That is it for me. But let's come to this trust question. Personally, I have been asking this question. Why do a region need to be called to that question? That region. I mean, you took something out of my mouth the other time. I don't know who said it, whether you or Velele. That region did not fight within it. It fought the Nigerian government. And the narratives that followed that war completely have miscued that event so much that today 90% of Nigerians do not have the real story of the civil war. You remember the narrative that has gone far and wide. It is in quotes the Igbo war, and the question, then the trust question is always focused at them. Meanwhile, the man who orchestrated and who planned all of these things had genuine intention, wanted liberation, because there was already killings of his people even before he declared that secession. Bro, let's leave that history and come back to today and why Okoye is doing this. In 2015, when APC was to take power, we thought that they had the substance and that, they were going to come and wave the magic wand and then things will begin to happen. But lo and behold, bro, the reverse began to be the case. At the least, we survived the 8 years of late Muhammadu Buhari. But come to Tinubu, I just wrote an article recently. I said article, an article recently about how Tinubu has added 30.5% of Nigerians to the poverty rate between when he took power on Monday, 29th May 2023, and now. 30.5% of Nigerians had slipped into poverty. We now have 181 million Nigerians in it. This is evidence of leadership without substance and empty leadership. And when you have people like this, Tudo, they would recourse to tools of division like what we have on our hands and what is playing out. It is just what it is. If you want us to restrict it to this current conversation, this current time and this current socio-political dispensation, bro, it is about the lack of what capacity. You don't have achievements to reel out to people so that they can, at least repose confidence in you. You lack idea. You don't even have measurable achievements to call out. Credible, clear vision. All of these are the reasons put together that Tinubu and the rest will sit down and Onanuga would boldly and brazenly come out, to do all of these things. If Onanuga, who is in the communications, brazenly came out in 2023 when we were electing to say that, to profile the Igbos violently, what do you think will be happening in our legacy media front? It is true, and I think it is high time that this conversation remains in the front corner so that at least it seems these journalists, these Jankara journalists that are all over the place that we have in our legacy media and profiling politicians, you don't have it's just that we have normalized abnormality. Indulge me, Tudo, for a minute more. We have normalized abnormality. If not, we have normalized abnormality, you would not have someone who is readily available to grant interview, answer you exclusively, and all you do is to profile and try to smear him while you have others who are completely absent from the scene. And yet you are not asking them, you're not calling them to these questions, either posting to them in proxy or calling them to attend to this interview, either recorded or live, and answer questions like this man is asking. But instead, you are asking the questions about, sorry to digress as I wrap up, why is he saving? What they said, he saved money in personal account. Someone is saving. Others are, heaping debt and leaving debt behind. Someone saved and left it as a media house. You are not amplifying that. You are querying it on behalf of those who are calling the narratives. It's just the legacy media weaving and social engineering, brother. I yield the mic.
All right. Thank you, my man, Jagun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We are just warming up here. We're not even started. So, like I was explaining before I yield to Omoye here in a second, the whole point of this space, I want to bring the Nigerian media. We are bringing them to the court of public opinion. This public, we are going to crucify them and nail them to the cross. Yes, because now then they feel all this hate speech from Ruben Abati to Oseun Kibaloye, all the media people, and so funny enough, they are Yoruba people. So all the Yoruba people on this space, I am coming here to let you guys see, right, the hypocrisy of what these people are doing. For those who may not know history, every major ethnic group in Nigeria has threatened secession before 1966, a civil war. we keep going back to this one? Even recently, Sunday Igboho, Yoruba Nation. Now, let me say he says it. Yoruba Nation now. Yoruba Nation now. Yoruba Nation now. That's what he's saying.
Leave my brother alone.
Actually, leave me alone. Okay.
Tudu, thank you for activating the Yoruba part of you this morning.
I have to, man. I didn't choose for my parents when they were smashing. They didn't ask my opinion. Anyways, let's move on. So, the point here, ladies and gentlemen, is that why must you benchmark? Why must you fix this thing to 1960? But I don't want us to get bogged down on history. We all know the history. I keep saying it. I am coming for the Nigerian media because they have the loudest microphone and they're the megaphone, and they continue to fill this thing, right? So when you ask a man like Peter Obi, who was a 6-year-old kid, the Civil War, to look into a camera and assure Northerners that he can be trusted, do you see everything is wrong with that? Or that is an insult to Peter Obi and everything that Peter Obi represents. You are going to ignore all of this man's accomplishments. A former governor, a former government official, he has served, public life from private sector to public sector. I mean, he has continued to do philanthropy. He goes to the north all the time to give. You don't ask him if he could be trusted. Before they take his money, they don't ask if he can be trusted. Before they take all his large giving. But no, the moment he says he wants to run the affairs of Nigeria, all of a sudden, we don't know. We don't care. Can we really trust you? What does that mean? What does "can we trust you" mean? Does it mean you are going to burn down the country? What that Tinubu has done? Does it mean that all of a sudden, all the worst things in the world will happen to Nigeria? Or you're going to divide Nigeria? And then he was doing this thing where he kept tying Peter Obi to iPod. Did you guys see that? Did you notice that? You notice that? He kept every time iPod, Nnamdi Kanu, iPod, Nnamdi Kanu, Peter Obi. So it was strategic. Like every time Peter Obi wanted to answer, he will interject. At some point, he was even putting his finger up. You are talking to somebody in the same room. You guys are like, 1, 2 feet from each other, raising your hand. Right in the middle of what the man is saying, you ask him a loaded question like that, and you won't even let him explain. And every attempt for this man to explain, you kept interjecting him. It tells me that you are not interested in what he has to say. You are there to drive an agenda. And my goal on this space is to push these people to the point that the next time the next journalist thinks of asking the trust question, you will think twice. And finally, on that point, please, I'm going to repeat this point throughout this space today. So starting with you and all our highly respected Igbo politicians, the next time you go on a TV show or an interview and a journalist asks you a ridiculous question like that, please decline. In fact, decline with so much bravado. Let them understand that is a ridiculous question. Like, how dare you ask me if I can be trusted? That is how you change narratives. You don't change narratives, especially the one that denigrates your people, your ethnic extraction, whatever, by feeding into that. So now you have been pushed to a point where you feel the need to explain yourself, to keep explaining. Oh, can you be trusted? Absolutely. Of course you can trust me. Then the next time, can you really trust you? You've answered the question before. They come back again, same question. Then the next time, the same question. Then the next time, do you not see the pattern here? They are not interested in what you have to say. They want to keep driving a narrative. So where does it stop? After Peter Obi, you're going to ask his children if they can be trusted. After Peter Obi's children, you're going to have their children. Where does this madness stop? Saying enough already. There are so many things in 2026 for Nigerians to grapple with. We don't give a fuck about what you think about what happened in this is 2026. The Civil War happened. It's our history. Nigerians must learn that history so that we can move forward and make. We are not the only people who have fought Civil War. In fact, there are so many other countries. The problem with Nigeria, the government refuses to address Civil War. There are people who are still alive today who are carrying scars in their bodies from that Civil War. There are people today who have lost so much in that Civil War, but this irresponsible, successive government refused to address that issue. And instead of, on top of that, they are now using it. They are using it like just to malign and to denigrate and to spew out hateful, divisive rhetoric against a group of people. We will not stand for that. And we are saying enough is enough. All right, let's continue, guys. Thank you. Extraordinary Oma, welcome.
Good evening, Tudo. Oh my God. Dr. O, I see you, Velele. Will Mommy Money, guns are blazing. Oh my God. I have wondered so far. I say, say we share work.
No,
That's you. I see you.
join together at the hip. You go nowhere, Oma.
Oh my God. But to thank you. There couldn't have been a better time to talk about this than now. And thank you for bringing it up. And thank you to everyone who is here, join our voices to call out, the media. These people, these journalists, they know that the media is a very powerful tool. It shapes information, public opinion, and behavior, of people. And I thought that in Nigeria, journalists are supposed to be partisan, right? But I think just listening to a journalist now.
Non-partisan. You mean non-partisan?
Yeah, sorry. Partisan. Yeah. Sorry about that. But just listening to some journalists now, literally just when you speak, you can literally say, APC. Oh, yeah, APC. Oh, that's APC. But that's ridiculous. I just need to read out something. From the Nigerian Journalists Code of Ethics, it states that news reporting should be factual, accurate, balanced, and fair. It states that journalists should separate facts from conjecture and comment. It says that editorial decisions should be professionally independent. It says that journalists should not accept political patronage or other rewards to suppress or publish information. They should avoid pejorative references to a person's ethnic group, religion, or sex. They should promote national unity, democracy, justice, and equity. So, going by their own code of ethics, I think what is coming here is what INEC did with the electoral laws of 2022, which they went against all of it. So the only I had in my head was that journalists to be non-partisan. I know the rest. But when that interview happened, I search for answers, and I had to go read it out just to check. And when you profile presidential candidate,
can you hear me?
yeah,
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to drop off and come back. It's glitchy, kind of. I don't know if it's me, but I'll drop off and come back. Go ahead. Thank you. Guys, let's finish up Babachir Lawal's interview. Maybe I'll let the space play out, and then I'll bring it later because it's a bit glitchy right now. I don't know. It's very tough to stay on. So let's continue with our video here.
He said, Southwest, and your friend, because of your friend, I know we can convince him to do pattern. And we did that. I was in Dubai when you called me that I should come and want to do a merger with the ACN. And I told you, sir, this role you want me to play, I cannot play it because I'm too close to the Western people. I have so many people there that look like we are blood links. And I know your people, the House of Fulani people, they don't like me. And they think I have an inordinate access to you, and they don't like it. So if I do this thing and we do this merger, they will say, I sold it to Yoruba people. They will not see the thing we are going to. So Buhari says, Bidi, I say, sir, you are the only one that can help us do this merger because Bola is your friend. He has told me many times you are his friend. And Bola says, you are quite smart in the politics of Nigeria. You know the dynamics of Nigerian politics. So if you are not the bridge, how can we merge? So I asked him, sir, what do you want out of this merger? He said, well, me, all I want is a big party that can get rid of PDP. Doesn't matter if I get anything out of it or not. In any case, I have told Nigerians that I will not contest again. Yes. So I said, okay, so I went to Bola. Oga, this is what my Oga said. Oh, you agree with this? So yes, he told me, I agree. I said, what do you want out of this system? He said, Bidi. I said, Oga. He said, you know my ambition to be president. But the way the country is going, the primary goal is to get rid of PDP. I'll define my ambition, put it aside until we achieve this goal, then we'll see how it happens.
This was Tinubu now.
This was Tinubu now telling me this. I'll define my ambition. So Nigeria, without a country, I cannot be president. So let's have a country. And that was Tinubu at that time. Exactly. So I said, okay, so now we are on good ground. So what would I do in the night? If tomorrow there's going to be a meeting of the merger committee, I'll go around it with them. What do you want out of this? I'll hear their views. And usually I will now also go around and meet the 3 or 4 coach. I mean, this is what my Oga would like us to do, or this is what my friend would like us to do. And somehow the system works out fine. I'll have a merger. Usually I'll tell Buhari all this story. And I'll tell him how when we went to the convention in Lagos, suddenly now we have a big party and your ambition, though you rejected it, we push. Actually, we had to push Buhari to the contest. We had to push. Because I said, the time is right now, sir, along with other people too that were pushing. Because we saw this was his season. So we went to the convention. The day we went to the convention, the Northwest, where he comes from, was majorly supporting Kwankwaso. Wow. And some Atiku Abubakar.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The Southwest, they were sort of neutral, waiting for who Bola Tinubu will sell them to. Will take note of it. Will sell them to. And then the Southeast, of course, they had a candidate in Okorocha. And our analysis with Buhari was that Okorocha, Buhari, and another man, late Abdul Qadir, he was National Vice Chairman, Northwest. So 3 of us sat down and analyzed the situation. And we came to the conclusion that Okorocha was likely going to win that convention.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, because if all the Igbo people from Rivers, the 5 eastern states, and Bendel, and Edo, but
Midwest.
No, not Midwest, Delta, Asaba people, Ugwashuku, Nkwale, there are about 5 local governments that are fully Igbos there. I live there, so if they were to group together and give their son, and Okorocha, for all practical purposes, is a northerner.
Lived in Plateau State.
He grew up in Plateau State. And he had other humanitarian services that endeared him to northerners. So we northern minority tribes or ethnic nationalities aside Hausa and Fulani were likely more sympathetic to Okorocha. So all this we analyzed. I said, so sir, even Katana we are not sure we know.
Wow.
So we went back to our hotel and and we strategized and I said, so let us go and see Wamako. The 2 leading governors then in the north were Nyako, Admiral Nyako, Adamawa State, and Wamako, Sokoto State. The 2, especially Nyako, was like their leader. So we went to Nyako and explained the situation, and Wamako explained the situation. And our message was very simple. Northwest, if you don't vote for this man, if you are in trouble if you win so. Because Buhari is known to be a vindictive person. No, he was not. So they didn't listen much. So we went to Tinubu around midnight and met him. I said, sir, look at it. I have this data that I'd like to show around. I said, this man, whether he's on the ballot or not, he normally gets 12 million votes from the north. So, and it required 3 more votes, 3 million more votes. 15 is the winning margin normally. That's why we went into the merger. We are not supporting winning tickets. You are the only person that can give the 3 million votes that Buhari needs and becomes president. Once the Northwest understands that Yorubas will vote for Buhari, they have no choice. Because then when they block vote from the West, Buhari will win. While they share the rest, all of them small. He saw the logic. And I don't think he slept that night. He went around those governors, persuaded them with the argument. Persuaded them with the argument. And coming from Tinubu, of course, Kaisbo went, and coming from Abdelkader and I. So at the last minute, around 4 a.m., they agreed that they were going to support Buhari. So now we went to the convention. Southwest was going to do Buhari. Northwest was going to do Buhari. And others sputtering here and there. Kwankwaso, Atiku, Okorocha were going to share. And my friend Nda Isaiah,
exactly.
for all record purposes, was also on the ballot. And they were one with the landslide at that convention. So anytime Buhari would complain about the man, bring up the history, and Buhari be a man of conscience, will agree.
What are his complaints about Tinubu?
What complaints everybody has now? Buhari was a president now. Before he became another president,
Exactly.
He has access to intelligence about Tinubu's upbringing, about his lack of clear genealogy, his education. He knew everything. Everything, and that's one of the things I used against Buhari. I said, sir, before we went into looking for his support ab initio before the match, we knew these things, don't you? He said he does. I said, okay, so, but yet we asked for his support, and he gave it to us wholeheartedly, along with other things.
Wow.
So how come now suddenly he has become evil? I don't think so. You should. I don't think it's Islamic, but certainly for me as a Christian, it's unchristian-like to bite the finger that fed you. At the point you were looking for his support, you knew this. You should have said, "I don't want the support of a cook," but you didn't. So Buhari will say, "Yes, thank you," and change.
You normally said this to President Buhari?
Yes, no, normally, because everybody will tell you he made Buhari president, but there are other things, nitty-gritty inside that they were not privy to. Suddenly, it was just when you get to the top level, it's from there you take over. But underground things, I was one of the few people that firsthand knew what Bola Tinubu did to facilitate Buhari's presidency, and I never let Buhari forget this. Sometimes too, people will come, some charlatans will meet. When you want something, you're desperate, everybody that thinks they can help you, listen. And they confuse him and he gets into a depression. And somebody else, usually Baba Kande or my friend Pius, say, "Oh, guys, your friend is not happy today." Maybe sometimes 2-3 days, he's just lying down in his bed. Then I'll come and I'll knock. "Who is that?" I say, "BD." So he will stand up in his boxer and open the door and go at the small table in his office. I'll sit down and say, "Okay, come and sit down. I have something to tell you. It's short. I don't want to waste my time." And I'll tell him what I'm there to do, and then he will go back to sleep and so on and so forth. So at that stage, it's somebody you can trust. It's somebody you can like. Bola has given some people stupendous amount of money to help them out of a crisis that I know some firsthand, without expecting, ordinarily for you, without expecting anything. But you see, the thing with Bola Tinubu is that he has a gift. I think it has to be a gift from God. He can see in you a future returns for himself in advance. Sort of like prophetically, like if I help Wale out of this in 5 years' time, Wale will do things for me. And that type of help he will give you is what that can stupefy you. So he does things like that. A good man at that time. When in trouble, he helps. But suddenly, I don't know what has happened. He has lost his soul.
He has lost his soul?
Yeah, because he has lost his soul. Having come to this government. He has lost his soul.
Of course.
Because there's somebody that is in charge all the time. But suddenly it looks like he's no more in charge. As long as he gets his own share of whatever he says he's looking for, the rest they can loot it and do whatever they want to do with it. It happens to every president, but in his own, it is a calamity. Everybody will tell you the Bola we know is not the Bola we see now. Well, we don't see him again anymore anyway. But I wish he could go back to what he was before. Nigeria would be great. It would be great.
These are serious stuff, sir. These are really serious. These are really serious stuff. I want you to comment briefly on someone like Malam Nasir El-Rufai, who openly says, he rallied northern votes. He rallied his fellow northern governors when they were not clear. It was, and I'm sure you alluded to it also, Buhari was not open to supporting Tinubu candidature for the APC primaries. So, and I think some of them governors wanted the position, but Buhari didn't back any of them. Eventually the Lord fellow Malam Nasir El-Rufai, according to him, to go rally northern governors to support Tinubu. But as we sit here, sir, Is it not a great irony that the same Nasir who promoted and championed Muslim ticket is behind bars?
I normally would decline commenting about Nasru because we're in the university together.
Oh, you were in ABU together?
Yeah, well, I was a senior, but it was a survey department, I was electrical engineering department. And so I know quite, even at that time, some of his idiosyncrasies, some of his character flaws and character, whatever I call the opposite of flaw, what is it now? He's somebody we used to call him Nasru Giant. He's a small man that will want to be recognized as a giant. That characterization will make you reckless in some of the things you say or do, just so you can look big. I think that is one of his character flaws. He likes to claim credit for sometimes what is not his. And when credits are his, he tends to exaggerate the influence. That is, I see him like that. These are some of the things I tell you. Everybody will tell you he brought Bola Tinubu to government or Buhari to government. When I was SGF, I used to run into people who would come to me and say, I was, for example, the director of planning and strategy in the presidential election, and you have not given me anything. Without me, Buhari would not have been president, all that type of thing. And what I'll tell you is that, well, yes, you did that, but I know of somebody in Adamawa whose son died in a road accident on his way to coming for Buhari's rally. What do I tell that man in terms of what he has contributed to Buhari? I know somebody that has given us millions of naira, and then you contributed maybe 1 million naira, and you are coming here to say, hey, this also, I know this. Now, whatever Nasru tells you, his role probably started in the middle of the process, if you are charitable to him, because everybody knew that he and Bola Tinubu were never friends.
At all.
You know, it got to a stage, he even went to Lagos, tried to undermine Bola Tinubu in some conferences also, where he was boasting about coming to teach Lagosians how to deal with the Godfather, if you remember. Now, by then, Bola Tinubu's aspiration to be president had gone far. It was on a high-speed lane. Suddenly, about the time of the convention, now, Bola is a very good politician. So at that stage, I think he must have reached out to the governors for support. I don't know how it transpired between them, but there were some allegations that some millions of dollars exchanged hands.
From what hands to whose hands now?
From Bola's hands to
Nasir's hand.
Not Nasir, the northern governors, probably, I don't know, I'm not for sure, probably championed by Nasir. That's why when Bola says he owes nobody any obligation because he bought his money brought him there, he's probably referring to what transpired between him and the northern governors. At that stage, he now started making noises in Kaduna that Bola will be president, whether people like it or not. But do you know that Bola Tinubu Atiku beat Bola Tinubu in Kaduna? A very big margin. So if he cannot deliver his own state, how can he boast of having delivered the northern states to him? But that's who he is. And I believe between him and Bola, some relationship had transpired, some transactions had taken place, and he probably can claim whatever he claims. Short of Bola Tinubu himself giving us a story of what transpired, I cannot hear, because immediately after that process, we fell out with Bola anyway. So even not, he would have told me in a discussion about what transpired.
Exactly. Why did President Buhari not openly support President Tinubu, candidate Tinubu then? And if he did not support candidate Tinubu, he did not support VP Oshibajo, he did not support Rotimi Amechi. People thought Rotimi Amechi was like his adopted son. He did not support any of those.
No, Rotimi thought.
Okay, Rotimi thought
that he was his adopted son.
Okay. And then rather, the next thing we saw was that President Buhari was supporting Ahmed Lawan, former Senate president. Shed light on this. And then why did the President Tinubu? Because what we now saw was that he just stood aloof.
No, I tell you what happened.
Yes, sir.
By that time, a lot of things around Buhari had fallen into pieces.
Oh dear.
He had come back, recovered from his illness and his old age, and there is no more stamina to do things he wants to do, including brain.
Oh, wow.
You get to a stage where all this gra-gra again doesn't mean anything to you. So he was aloft to the issues of governance. And when that vacuum is created, small pockets of influence begin to, so people started peddling influence. They would come to you and say, hey, I was with the president yesterday, and we're discussing the candidates, and it is you he wants. He says it's you. However, Buhari, there's this lady whom Buhari must just always listens to. If you find, we know how to get to her. As an example, if we get like 500 million, she will do something for you, and they start to part with the big money. And they will try that with the Ashwaju, and Ashwaju probably will go into, what do you call it now, into depression. And somehow when I hear I go back and say, that's a lie. These people are just lying to you. Why not let's go and see him? He doesn't like to go to see Buhari for whatever. I don't know. He's afraid of Buhari. So
Tinubu was afraid of
Oh
Buhari.
yes, Tinubu doesn't like to force Buhari on no such matters. Whatever he tells you, it's Baba Kande who Buhari respects a lot, and trusts. It's Bisa Kande that will convince, and he will go in and talk and come back and usually reinforce what I had just told him yesterday also. So these people became very, very dominant around that thing. But Buhari, from my own personal relationship, I can tell you my own. When this crisis got to that stage, I saw him. Oga, why are you behaving like this? I didn't narrate what the man had done. What I didn't tell you is that at certain stage, after Buhari won the ticket, there was no issue of campaign funding. And Buhari is not a money person. Anytime, even in meetings, we discuss money, Buhari will be looking at the ceiling. Anytime they say leaders should contribute something, Buhari develops a deaf yes. Money is not his comfort zone at all. So we got to a stage we needed money. And Timi Presilva, my friend, and who I knew through Buhari, told me that we could raise the money because he's very well in good books, so many of the Nigeria's rich men. So we made an appointment to see one of the big-time rich people. And we went to him. He didn't want to be seen by us. But then we're popular Buhari people.
Exactly.
So we entered a boat, his yacht, and we took off to the ICs, and we did the discussion.
On the ICs?
And he agreed to support. So when we came out of the boat, there was this policeman that saluted Timi Presilva in Ijo language, and my friend became depressed. From that moment, I will go back to the hotel, and I couldn't even eat dinner. What happened to you? I thought we had a good news, we should celebrate. He said, no, he said, that sergeant is from Bayelsa. He's Goodluck's cousin. And anytime Goodluck wants to get something on you, that guy is the one they post to you. So this our meeting would have reached the president here by now. And he did. Before we go to Lagos, they had called that man. He got in Abuja before us, insulted him and threatened him and that. So, and these rich men, they have a club, a cult-like club.
Yes.
They want each other. So from that day, nobody who is rich would pick our phone. So I became confused and I went to...
Sorry, so the Goodluck government...
Exactly.
Of course. Not even back off. He jumped into the sea. And so we couldn't get any man again. Wow. So I went to Bola. Say, Oga,
can you be so desperate to be president and then get it and be aloof?
This matter. And he did. And through him, we were able to raise sufficient funds to do the campaign. Not only did he do that, Oshibanjo's portion of the campaign, he funded it. He hired a jet to fund the trip because Oshibanjo's campaign was a little bit broken away from the main campaign because his own was as a pastor, and the ethnic nationalities and Christians had some doubts about Buhari. So Oshibanjo was that side. It's not our own area, and he was just doing sort of semi-independent of the main campaign. Mbola was funding it. And then sometimes I know of another place when he hired some consultants for us from the US who were doing surveys, who were doing quite a lot of professional work.
David Axelrod and all of those.
I don't know their names. I just know that they were Obama people, and they came and they transformed our campaign. And I knew that the money he paid them was in excess of 2 billion naira equivalent, in dollars. And there's another thing about Ebola. If there's a need for an expenditure, no matter how massive, he doesn't come to the campaign post. He spends from his own post. All these things, I told you, some people don't know this, but I was there and I knew this. And he did all these things left and right. And then, for example, you notice how suddenly Buhari was wearing suit. Suddenly Buhari was wearing Yoruba. He didn't but all that, those people, we coerced him to and change the trajectory of the campaign through those his people. So that is through him. What is a human man? It's a decent guy. So I am the only person who confront him with these facts. He will not say, I don't know. He will not say it's a rumor because I was there. So why would he deny it? In the end, he said, okay, so we're going to the convention. I said, okay, let's make a deal. So what? I said, look, this man, we now know that on the basis of your religion and your ethics and your upbringing, you don't want to hand over to this man. But he has helped us get here. So there's no way. Let's make a deal. Stay neutral. And allow me to run the process. If you get to the convention and the party faithfuls defeat him, so be it. Yeah, it's not your hand. Your hand is not in it. But you say, that's not an excuse. Bidi, I know you. You give Bola Tinubu this ticket. I said, so are you God now, sir? I said, no, Bidi, you started with me 2002. So I know how you work. I know your methodologies, and I know Shibin at the same thing put me here now. That man, if I leave him to you, he'll get the ticket. I said, okay, granted, if he gets the ticket. Now, sir, you're a prophet. If he gets the ticket, but you're ascribing to me qualities I don't have. But let's assume it happens. Supposing the general election rejects him. Is that you? I said, no. So he asked me some other things, but I doubt him with this. And this is happening now. He mentioned some things. This man, is he going to be fair to our people? Is he going to be this? I said, so as long as I'm there, you know.
You can confront him.
I can checkmate him. He said, okay. It's a deal.
That was the level of confidence Buhari had in you, in being able to confront.
Yeah. It's a deal. You know, Buhari always says that Buhari tells me over and over that he's your friend. And I used to think personally, when it comes to the Southwest, as if Buhari was using me to manage the Southwest for him. So we had this unwritten agreement that anything Southwest, handle it and things like that. So he left it to us. And then other charlatans started using his name. Buhari is not somebody who said, I didn't say it. They are lying. Or come out and say, if you come to him and say, sir, I think you should support Malan Lawal because of this and this and this and this. Buhari will say, let God.
Let God's will be done.
Let God's will be done. It's not a no, it's not a yes. So if you go to Lawal and say, I spoke to Agao, and he's in full support of you, and then they arrange you go and meet Buhari, and the boy says, I want to contest.
Yeah, Ahmed Sayu, I agree with you. I even,
you know, so you think that it has reinforced the boy was telling the truth. So you go about and start campaigning. So many. There's one of my friends after the thing collapsed. After they say BD says,
he's not going to.
These people
they will have to fight for it. So that tells you.
I recover from what they did to me. I said, you decided to go through my back.
It
So
is
she
by
didn't even tell me when you joined APC. It was my mother in the village that told me your friend has joined APC. He didn't tell me you were contesting for president.
There's a recent video.
I asked him for support for Peter Obi. You told me you're supported before your own party. So I know I agreed on that now. So what is it? That's your own corporate team. So that's the dynamics around him. That's what I'm about. Again, now as we're going to the convention, you know, luckily he had made a deal with the northern governors, and we delivered at the convention. And where he said, you see, did I not tell you? You deliver, but now is it? We agreed that you'll be neutral, and you were neutral, and the delegates supported him. So let's see what happens in the general election. And my relationship with Bola didn't survive up to the general election. So from there, I don't know what happened on his side.
In 1 or 2 minutes, can you corroborate whether the Naira design policy, the fuel hoarding policy were targeted at stopping Tinubu's candidature, his campaign and all of that?
Well, as I said, at that stage, I was no longer close to Tinubu, but he was not the only one contesting. If it hurt anybody, it's everybody contesting. Yeah. But I must admit, too, I didn't see the rationale in it, because it affected us too. Now, by this time, I was doing Peter Obi, and we ran into cash shortages. I ran into problems getting cash from the banks to finance my responsibilities there.
So let me put you on the spot before we switch gears from this. You know, one of the major attributes of great leaders throughout the dawn of history, whether in politics or business or whatever, is succession planning. So do you blame Buhari in any way for not insisting on installing his own personal choice of successor?
It's not his character. It's not in Buhari's character to do things like that. He believes whoever God wants should take it. It's not. I'm sure personally, in his own personal mind, in his privacy, he probably has preferences, but he doesn't think it is his duty as a president to reveal those preferences. To give everybody. He's a man that is driven by the sense of justice and equity. You know, that is part of his weaknesses too. Well, sometimes you say there's a need for succession planning, but he believes he leaves it to God. After all, it wasn't succession planning that brought him there. In fact, he was there in spite of opposition. So Buhari was somebody like that.
Interesting. This bit of history that you've helped us to contextualize and put in proper perspective is very important. And I'm sure generations of Nigerians down the line will remember you positively for this. Let's make some progress. So how do you react to the Orire school abduction, the rescue, and the entire thing that surrounds it in Oyo State? What's your view on this?
For me, coming from Adamawa from the Northeast, it's a non-issue because it's something that has been happening day in, day out in this environment I live in the North. You know, so it happens every day. But luckily for you people, Yoruba people, it's your government. So when finally it happens to you, you deploy all the resources you have to do it and make it as if it's different from that. I read somewhere this morning that there's about 500 Nigerians in captivity.
Different captivities in different
parts of the country. That type of treatment and attention focused on the Orire has not been focused. Only the Chibok girls enjoyed that type of open publicity.
What you said now, sir, is it not down to the failure of northern elites such as yourself, governors and the civil society, traditional rulers, religious leaders? Because the way the Yorubas, and I must be fair to you, are correct, the way the Yorubas deploying every arsenal in the armory, their media, for instance, and I mean, like you said, the president is from Yoruba, and they would have told him in secret that if you don't get these people out, we will not vote for you. Why haven't the North used such leverage?
They do it, but I mean, leverage that is not leverage. If they collected his money to make him president, and they themselves, I mean, I have always said it. The problem with the Nigeria in terms of economy and security is that the governors don't have the inclination to contribute to the well-being of the society. All the money they collect is about 47% of the something, some big percentage. You don't know what happens to it. They just pocket it. You don't see it on the ground. I mean,
You mean the fact, sir? Is it fact? Federal
the fact, yeah, fact.
52%.
Well, if you no,
Okay, 47. I think you have 47.
47 local government.
Exactly.
But you add they also chop that of local government. So if they had been doing their bit, Nigeria would have been 100 times better than it is. That is the essence of state and local government, local development. Small culvert by the local government, small art road by the local government, major quarters, big hospitals, education, scholarship. They don't do it. Everybody is focused on the federal government to do it. Now, unfortunately, the northern government, the northern establishment, they have I don't know how to call it now, a monarchical mindset. You are the boss, you dispense favors, and you do it to only your people.
Part of the feudal system.
Yeah, exactly, that's what the word I was looking for. Everybody is like that. You become subservient to the man who controls the resources, and it has every successive governors. This has permeated their mind, and they don't care. I mean, they don't care about the North. And again, our elites, who also depend on them for their own well-being, must also develop that mindset. So if we had governors that governors like Audu Bako in their own set,
Exactly.
after that said, we don't have governors again. I mean, governors who were building dams, who were building roads, who were building universities, who were sending people abroad to go and study all manner of subjects, suddenly it has stopped. There's no more in our time. So when I went to Ahmadu Bello University, I didn't apply for scholarship. I went to the School of Basic Studies. I think I left the military school on 30th. We graduated on 30th June or something like that. 2nd July, I was already in the university. I just crossed over, entered taxi to ABU, Samaru, and I was a student in the university in SBS. I didn't apply for scholarship. The university sent our names, so they know our states, Northeast. They sent our names to Maduguri. Then I was invited for interview. That's when I knew that there was scholarship. I was invited for interview. Just show face. And they ask you, what's your name? Which state are you? And then they give you back transfer when you go back to university. Who are doing this? I mean, the states and the state governors are ready to make that sacrifice. And my money started coming out in 14 naira or so, which was sufficient to feed. I even bought a car in the university with my Bulgaria, we call it Bulgaria, and things like that. So life was good. But why are they not interested? I mean, there's no governor in the north that you can point to and say he's patriotic. Not just for the country, but for his own people.
Exactly.
I mean, you listen to, are they not aware that the Southwest, for example, long before they did in the Southwest Development Commission, they have a master plan on integrating with their country. I remember one of my discussions with one of the governors in those days when I was SGF. He was quarreling with the neighboring governor, and he was so frustrated because the two of them are in the cocoa belt, and he felt that they should partner to develop the cocoa industry, and so we don't have that type of mindset. Our government, they know our mainstay is agriculture. Audu Bako built hundreds of dams. So many of them, agricultural infrastructure, they have decayed. Before I came here, somebody was asking me, so sir, the idea of dredging the River Benue is dead now. So now River Benue is silted now. It's almost like a desert. And that is the way we used to travel by sea. Of course, we used to ship things by barges. Don't they know it? Don't they see what the Southwest is doing? They've copied the lifestyle of South, the money pocketed, every other person you give them. I agree with you. Our problem is 99.999% self-induced. And so we pay the consequences for it.
So how would you evaluate President Tinubu's approach to upholding, if at all, democratic values? Has he done anything to uphold them?
Bola the Democrat is not Bola the dictator. He's always had that in him, that he's always in charge. He's always had that. But if you look at his trajectory, it's something that, one thing I used to, in my own personal reason why I supported him, I could see in Lagos, when he was a governor, somebody like my friend, very close friend too, Aribe Shola, was a commissioner of works from Oshun. Quite a lot of them, I think there was even a Hausa man also in the cabinet.
And Igbo man was there.
So I thought that, and I used to tell my Oga, I said, look, this man brings this blueprint to Nigeria. It's very important that somebody can work with people from other places. He has demonstrated it in Lagos that he can work with people from other places. So when it comes to the federal, we'll do that. He has demonstrated financial prudence when he was governor. After all, for some 4 years or so, local government subventions from FAC was withheld, but still Lagos prospered because of his financial acumen. All these things make for good governance at the national level, a country with a multidimensional, multi-ethnic population. But suddenly he comes to Abuja and all he sees is Yoruba. And even in Yoruba, all he sees is Lagos. Even in Lagos, all he sees is the people he worked with before. So what happens to the rest of us? All infrastructure, 80% now is only Lagos. Everything is Lagos. Even for budget, the people that manage to get capital project in the federation are MDs headed by his close associates. So every other person goes to the office, read newspaper, and come back. So what happened to the Bola we knew now? Is it that we don't pray for him, or is it that God doesn't answer our prayers?
You people no,
But certainly,
I beg you, not do anything.
We are more pained.
Just
We
selfishness.
who knew him before and who know him now, we are more pained by what is happening. Especially somebody like myself, I don't complain. They say, you bring her now. Maybe you bring her for us. Maybe you sell him to us. I say, not before now. But I don't know.
I want you to comment specifically on the manifest, very clear evidence of, weaponization of, agents, either state agents or shadowy groups, destabilizing opposition political parties, trying to force the one-party state coronation next year rather than having competition.
It's part of it. That is classical Bola. Whatever you say about him is a self-centered person. He's somebody that knows his interests and he pursues it single-mindedly, whether it's democratic or not democratic. I would have thought that, I've said this before, given his known health conditions and publicly known.
The public does not know any health conditions. It's all the record rules.
Yes,
I'd like to.
How does
like to shed light.
No, I won't. What is not a healthy man now? I mean, Nigeria is not fooled when he's always in France. Nigeria is not fooled. I mean, the one is not. I've said it before. He's supposed to heal health. He has become president now for 4 years. That is enough. And but he cannot do more. You have ample examples to show that when you have declining health and age, your performance runs down exponentially. If I were him, I would face my problems now. I don't think he's not. Do you know something? Bola is not even somebody that likes to enjoy food. Bola will wake up in the morning and there's banana in his living room. He eat banana and the granite, and that is his food. Or sometimes in the morning they bring ogi and moimoi. And he no, I've never seen akara. It's ogi and pap. I said I go there any time of the day. Sometimes I practice. I said, the only thing I know he likes very much is cigarette, silk.
Oh wow, he smokes.
I don't know whether he does it now.
No.
Yeah, but he likes cigarettes. The silk.
Yes.
Wow. So he likes that a lot. He can't do without it. So that's it. He's not even. So why is he accused of amassing such excessive wealth? I don't understand. He's not going to enjoy it. He doesn't enjoy it. He doesn't do proper dressing. Now that he's president, he does it. There were times I criticize him with the way he dresses. And if you go to Bola Tinubu's house in the morning, he comes out and he meets you and you say, let's take pictures. Most of these people that like to take pictures, let's take pictures. He'll pose for you in his pajamas looking unkempt like that. And they go and send it on the internet. There was a time I was fighting with his aide. I said, don't allow him to take pictures until he's properly dressed. So he's not somebody that really revels in luxury or things like that. So I don't know. But you see, when you're in government, when you enter Villa, I think they collect the phones.
I seen the way we run.
They start to treat this phone as if it has bomb inside that if you hold it to explode. So there's somebody whose job is to hold the phones. If they don't want you to see the president, we will never see the president. There were times, I'm telling you, when I left SGF, I surrendered my visa card. My access card, which gave me access to everywhere. But suddenly, if I want to see the president, I have to go through the process and they hang this piece of paper. Oh, Buhari hated saying that thing on me. I said, why are you wearing this? I said, I have to do it now. I'll surrender my card. And in any case, the card is only 4 years. And the 4 years has expired. You call everybody, make sure BD is issued his card back. They never do it.
That reminds me. Can you tell us, how did you and Buhari become so close? What happened? How did that?
No, it's not about the government. It's not about government. It's a story. It's not for public knowledge. But when I was a small boy, I think Form 1 or Form 2, I went to see my uncle who was in the same street with him. And the uncle was not at home. There was nobody at home. And I was very hungry. So I went to the next house, his house.
Buhari's house?
Yes, and there was this madam. This wife was a very motherly woman, his first wife. And I said, how are you? I said, fine. So why this happened? I said, I came for a weekend pass. So let me say a pass. I said, so okay, what's wrong? I said, I'm hungry, ma. She said, I've just cooked August food. It's on the table. But I'm cooking for the general house. Are you too hungry? I said, madam. I said, okay, eat that one. I'll cook him another one. He normally comes a little bit late. So let's pray that I'd finish cooking before he comes. I was busy enjoying that jollof rice and fried chicken. When the man walks in, very straight, very soldierly, uniform fits in with the stick. He walks in, removes his cap, hangs it on the stand, removes his belt, hang it. And I was there in my army uniform. Me now. I knew I was in trouble, so I better enjoy my food anyway. So, and I was enjoying my food. And then he comes to me, he walks past me, enter the kitchen. I said, who is this eating my food? That is our neighbor's, General Hanania's.
Okay, that's General Hanania.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's General Hanania's cousin. He just came in and he was hungry. I also finished your own food. So he came out and sat opposite me. That's when I stood up, the chest out. Sir, good afternoon, sir. say good afternoon, and I continue eating my food. So when I finish, I carry the plate back into the kitchen and put on my belt and put on my cap and saluted. And then went to the living room.
Were you in the military, sir?
I was in military school. So I sat down. So he came and sat down and he said, a very interesting character. I was in Form 1, this is 1970. And he says, I'm a very interesting character. Who are you? Give me about myself. So I told him about what gave you the courage to eat my food like that with confidence? I said, okay, I grew up very poor. And sometimes I'd go for days without food. So anytime I see food, I don't wait to be invited home because that might be the last food I'll see for that week.
Wow.
So he said,
Wow, okay.
exactly like me. I grew up like that too. From that day. Yeah, so my trousers, my military uniform was undersized because I was tall. I made my height 6 feet 4 inches in this second Form 1. So my trouser was just a little bit below my knee because it's standard issue.
Yes.
You go to the quartermaster, he picks one and throw at you.
Yes.
My shirt, the long sleeve, was just about short sleeve.
Yeah.
So he now, when we finish, he now put me in the car and to the one div base and called the quartermaster to measure me. And from there, they saw a standard uniform for me. And anyone I'm on holiday, so from there we became very close until, of course, he became a big man. And then he went into politics. No, he was in PTF when I reconnected with him. I congratulated him. And when I went to his, what was in the Nikon, he was interviewing drivers. So okay, you're interviewing drivers. As chairman PTF, he said, yes, sir, if you plan to trust people now, this is not your job. Drivers, sir, these are for people who belong. So he said, you started again. He said, I miss you. He said, I miss you. You're the only person that can tell me this. I said, but is it not the truth? He said, it's the truth, but why don't they tell me the way you tell me? I said, I don't. So we reconnected again, subsequently. But throughout his PTF, he didn't give me one single contract.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't.
As close as you were.
I told him I was then selling PABX and computers. I said, sir, I want to install PABX in the office they are renovating. He said, okay, send your proposal to Salhijo, who was my friend. I sent my proposal to Salhijo introduction. One day, one Indian walked into my office looking for somebody who he can subcontract a PBS contract to. And he gave me the award letter and the bill of quantity. I checked, it was exactly yours. So somehow the thing, I don't know how it happened, but they didn't give me. So I got angry and I never asked him for anything after that.
Anyway, it's good you cleared that bit of history. So it's safe to say Buhari was not a bigot.
No. Look, Buhari is a very religious person, but he allows you to practice your own religion. He doesn't interfere. Let me tell you what happened between us on the issue of religion. One day I went to his house around time for prayers, the afternoon prayers. And these people, they like to intimidate somebody with their religion. So somebody just say, okay, let us go and pray now. Somebody will just say, very pious type of crook. So let's go and pray now. And everybody will stand up and go to the mosque and pray. Me, I sat down. So Buhari came after they left, said, you know why I like you? I like the fact that you are proud of your religion. You know that some Christians, when they come here and these people do this type of thing, they stand up and then as if they are going to pray with us and then they enter toilet and something like that. I said, you are just, I said, okay, this is your prayer, we know the fast ceiling self. So I'm a prayer. And eventually I went to the seminary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to the seminary, Jets. I was already a successful businessman. I left it. I went to the seminary. And he came on, where have you been? I said, I'm going back to school, sir, seminary in Jos. He said, okay, what are you studying? I said, mission. I said, okay, so who pays their school fees? I said, okay. I pay now, self-sponsored. It's not much. He said, no student should pay his own school fees. We did what we went through in life as children. We shouldn't bring it on. I'll pay our school fees for you. And so every time when we go, they give us the course that we want to do. We add the credits. We totally assure him, I said, okay, this is my credit for this tour. I say, okay, he pays school fees for me. And sometimes give me some pocket money, depending on how buoyant he is, which is hardly buoyant. So he give me. And I tell you, the man pay my school fees in seminary, they don't understand it. They say I'm lying. No,
let's make progress. I want you to speak on the state of our judiciary, especially that it has been alleged that the ruling party, again, the president and his people are weaponizing judiciary against political parties, opposition, Showore, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. All the parties have one case or the other in court. Can you speak on this?
Of course, no. I was at the heart of, I was in ADC until recently, and we were victims for that type of thing. So it's alleged. Well, people want to say it's allegation, but what we see is not what they expect of our judiciary. The judgments that come out, there's no way an ordinary Nigerian will not think that the judgments are driven by motives other than politics. And I think the judiciary has allowed itself to be surrendered to government. I might not have started here. It might have started long ago. The government always has interest in some cases, naturally, isn't it? As a government, there are times you want to express to the judiciary what would have been your preferred position. But it's up to them to decide. As SGF, I used to do it now. I say, the government has interest in this case. So which is their side? I said, this is our side. Sometimes they do what we want, sometimes they don't do, depending on whether it's just accidental. So as soon as he didn't help us, I said, na law they do, no be politics. But now I don't think the people have that type of thing. We are Nigerians. The judges are from all the judges are our relations, our children. If you want to become a magistrate and you come to me and you say, sir, they are recruiting magistrates, so I want you to talk to somebody for me. When you talk and he becomes a magistrate, you know, ab initio, that person can be compromised.
Exactly.
So the judiciary, if I want to put it in one single sentence, is now the major problem of the country.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the major, the checks and balances they are supposed to bring to bear, they don't. So when the judiciary fails, where do you go?
What's his response for the decline of the judiciary? What
is the Nigerian decline? Greed. Greed, and we have all lost our sense of dignity.
Yep.
Well, we are now pursuing money. So now pursuit of money is our number one goal, and in pursuing money, we've lost our dignity.
Yep.
At every level.
So the general erosion of values in the society has affected the judiciary.
Oh yes, now they're in the society now. In the society, when you're struggling to make ends meet, money, you just have excesses.
Because of time, I'll leave them at I won't forget maybe another time. So let's talk about the allegations against the President Chief of Staff, Babachir involving this fake agency, Presidential Foreign Intervention Council, and there are a couple of others, many others actually, involving the same Babachir. There's this 54 billion naira that was allegedly collected from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. You know, it's a collection agency, so they collected 4%, collection fees, cost of collection, and then Femi Gbajabiamila is alleged to have written to them by the directive of the president that they should take 2.5% of that 4%, then the remaining 1.5% should come. They want to do metering and all of those, and that 1.5% is what comes to 54 billion. So, can you address all of these allegations? Maybe 2 million because of that.
No, because in this particular example you give, supposing the chief of staff writes a memo to the president, sir, we need money for so, and we can get it from the 4% of the collection fee for this agency, and the president says approved. He's right to them and say, bring this money. But we don't know whether the president had given him the approval. But once the president gave him the approval, he's not done wrong about it. Okay. Now, but the only way they can appropriate that money is maybe for good causes projects, because that money, if it is done illegally, is criminal. Now we come to this fake agency thing. Where I smelled a rat is this: when chief of staff did a press conference disowning this agency. It's not his duty to disown agencies. Okay, and then the chief press secretary to the president goes also to defend his position. I smelt a fish. The chief of staff is an unknown entity in administration. He works in his office quietly. He works at the pleasure of the president. So he has no independence of his own, for example, to issue appointment letters. Well, he has all his done was maybe report it to the police or DSS since it's connected. I don't see why we should be reporting cases to the DSS anyway, because they are secret service agency. It's the police. And then the police can make that press conference and so on. So I smell that right there. But then the man comes out and involves Babachir. It looks like it is very fishy. I've read his own defense. It sounds plausible, but in the Nigerian context, it's unbelievable. And it's not a rumor anymore. People, since the beginning of this administration, people have claimed that they pay for their appointment. In fact, down to the level of entry-level staff. But in this government, I don't think they can swear on oath that they don't sell appointments. Those who have responsibility to do it, I don't think they can swear on oath that they don't sell appointments.
This is a comment on President Tinubu mandating ICPC to investigate this entire affair in 30 days, report back to him without asking Mr. Babachir to step aside pending investigation. It happened to you, sir. But Buhari, as close as you are to him, even though he was reluctant to do it, but eventually he caved in. Why is President Tinubu?
He didn't cave in. It was Osinbajo that took the decision without recourse to the president.
Oh, really?
Wow.
When Buhari was not around? Or when
he was sick that day. He was sick. He didn't come to office. So
Buhari would not have done it if he was around?
He was furious when he found
Really?
out, yeah. So we suspended my AGF without my permission.
Wow.
And a lot of things like that. But like with Buhari, because the process of redressing that would have been more calamitous than if he had just left it, since he knows that I wasn't bothered anyway. So we know ourselves very well.
So is that the same pattern of Tinubu now, like covering up for his chief of staff?
Tinubu is different from Buhari. Buhari can easily throw you under a bus, no matter how close you are. If you get into problem, he's not the type of person that will step out and say no.
But why was he willing to do this for you?
He wasn't willing to do it now. He was angry and then just left me to my devices. So I must say we knew each other, yes. And I knew that anyway that is his character.
You didn't take any offense.
We never discussed it all, even 1 second.
Wow.
We only started discussing it when it was time to appoint an SGF. Anyway, that's a different story. It's not for you here. But you see, somebody like Bola Tinubu can stand by you. Some leaders are like that. One leader that I know like that is Obasanjo. You dare not maltreat his subordinate, and then he'll keep quiet. He'll come to your defense. Bola is like that, and he has come to the defense of his man, even though it is. And in any case, let's face it, there's still always the remote possibility that he was involved in the thing itself. Abi,
Yeah.
given the trajectory of this government, the way they do that, there's still the possibility that the president was involved in this type of thing anyway. But still, he couldn't have cleared the man before even the man. But who else can investigate it now? ICPC is the right agency to investigate the corruption by public officials.
But if he was you, sir, holding the position of president, and one of your aides, assuming I'm working for you in the presidency, and I'm accused of this, what would you have done?
First of all, making Gbajabiamila resign. Why do they say you should resign? You should resign so that this position you're holding, you don't use it to influence the outcome. But let's face it.
Not even resign, sir, just temporarily
step aside. But when I step aside, I step aside with my iPhone still in my hand, step aside with my connections. I can still manipulate the process now. So it's neither here nor there. And in any case, I had he has called to defend himself now.
They called him to come and give explanation.
And he showed up. And I think if you listen to the explanation, the processes, it probably will give him the benefit of that. But nothing will come out of this. You know that. Nigerians know that. They will wash it and clear everybody. Or maybe find a small victim and hang him. Or hang this poor chap. Yes. Wow. Serves him right too, because
why do you say serves him right?
We're going to participate in forming a fake agency and pretending to make it genuine. Serves him right now. The degree of fraud he brought into bear on the system is unimaginable.
I'm telling you.
It's
this is not the only one. IMF, through the Reuters news agency, global news agency, blew the whistle on 8.8 trillion naira spent without appropriation, without passing through the regular appropriation channels.
Bola doesn't believe in budget. When even in Lagos, he wasn't believing in budget now. The whole money is his own, he can deploy it anywhere he likes. And then why did he go about influencing the outcome of these lackeys as National Assembly leaders? Because he knows that they will rubber stamp him. So if you were to do that under Buhari, they will impeach him now. They will try to impeach you. I'm telling you, the legislation under Buhari will try to impeach him. There are times he will say, do this. I say, guys, it's not appropriated for. Some minister will come with a memo. I want to do this project. I will get you are supposed to attach proof of funding. They bring proof of funding that is they are going to commandeer money from one of the MDs under them, the Revenue Generation Agency. They bring. I say, how can this man do this? We have a memo, a Federal Executive Council resolution that money should not be spent at source. If you approve this thing, they're subject to impeachment. They say, kill the memo. So, but this man doesn't care. The whole money is his own. And then the whole thing is, I think 90% of the budget doesn't go through the budget process, the spending now. I heard today that they even had a service-wide vote of how many trillions? 2.2 trillions. The service-wide vote is just warehouse there for emergency procurement. The National Assembly approves it, but it's a black box. So anytime a particular agency is desperate for money, the president can approve it's drawn from there. So that's like petty cash for Bola Tinubu now. The Assembly has given him the go-ahead to use it as a petty cash.
Let's talk some politics. Do you believe the opposition are they doing enough to hold this government to account, to put them under pressure? The way you guys put Jonathan and PDP under pressure, 2014, to get power, you described a bit of it here. I mean, if I remember the role, people like Lai Mohammed, who was the face of the publicity arm, I mean, what they were doing there. Are these people serious? The opposition are they?
The generation is progressive. With every regime, we degenerate more. And so there are very few people that have clean hands enough to attack government. And some of them are just pretenders. You can imagine somebody, I wrote a press release somewhere that Atiku's press release criticized the NBA election as if the process is not clean. Why did I leave ADC? Because Atiku manipulated the congresses. So it's not shameful.
I was coming to that. So now that you mentioned it, let's talk about it. When you left the ADC, you didn't just leave quietly. You shook the building to its foundations. Accused Atiku of so many things. You called him Kachala, Atiku, and all of those. Explain to us.
I'm not somebody that like to live quietly. There's in my village. I think there's a big. The legend is that there's a big snake in one mountain. So anytime it comes down, it clears everything, and then rain begin to fall, and everybody's floating everywhere because the python or the whatever it is. So I'm like that. I go out as a hurricane because sometimes it's because it touches at my core values, and when it touches at your core values, there's nothing to live for again.
But did you really rig the primaries?
No, there was no primaries.
How do you say that, sir?
I was there now. Remember,
you can only be in one place. You were not in all the statistics and the FCT, sir.
Look, all over the country. It was rigged. First of all, understand my position in that party. I was a national vice chairman noticed. Apart from that, I was a very senior member of the founding coalition. I was somebody that had experience in how political parties are run. I've been there before. And I had a very good relationship with the chairman. And me and the secretary and I, National Secretary Rauf, go back many, many years in the 80s, 1980 something. So I was quite influential in quite a lot of the things that happened. One thing sometimes we're one of those who were pushing for a consensus candidate because we don't believe that the party had the resources to do a national level primaries. It was just basically what INEC does, except that it's done at the world level. INEC goes to the polling unit. We didn't have the resources, so everybody knew that this process cannot be free and fair. Now, I, for example, can tell you that I was the national chairman not as the zonal chairman noticed, we were supposed to constitute the primaries committee for each state in the zone. What was the regulation? The rules were that, well, the state will nominate 5 people, 1 from each senatorial zone at least. And then you, the vice chairman for the zonal chairman, will bring the chairman and the secretary from outside. Knowing given my character, and then they suggested it must be former governor, former permanent, former this, big or general. I went out of my way to get people that I thought had integrity. I went out of my, because that's my style. And in the 6 states in my zone, I appointed them and sent them out. Of course, some I didn't know much about them, but I can tell you, all those people who were sent out didn't do what they were supposed to do. They didn't deploy the level of integrity that I expected of them. They didn't pay me. And everywhere, that's the story you hear from other zonal chairmen or from other leaders of the party. Here you said about FCT. FCT, I went out. It was drizzling a little bit, so I went out trying to see what was going on. Everywhere, there was no election. Materials are not reached. So I complained to the senior leaders of the party. One of them, the senator, said, it's drizzling. They cannot do these primaries when it's drizzling. So the electoral officers went to a safe place with the election materials, and we quarreled. I said, but as you see the safe place, how can an electoral officer run to a safe place with election materials? People are here on the polling where they're expected to be. Nobody is saying them. It's life, I'm saying. I found other states. It's the same thing here. Eventually, when the rain around 4, they came out to do boju and the road results. And I was here. I went around. I didn't say anything. As a person in the zones, it's like that. One of my chairman said, sir, how do you expect Atiku, our leader, Atiku, to lose in Adamawa State? Is that a story? He lost. So they rewrote the results. And then when I was protesting why they rewrote the results, like in my local government, where I know, this man, Mohammed Hayati, whom I preferred, got about 2,000 or 12,000 something. I think there were 20,000 votes. And Atiku got a little bit below 1,000. But the result was inverted. This I know. I found the people. Why did they stayed back in Song? People were still waiting for them to turn up at the police station. They stayed back in Song. And they wrote the result they were instructed to do. So I thought about it. I told people, I can't live with this. Am I going to now sit down tomorrow with some of these people in ADC and discussing a new generation of political party that will be exemplary? This is what we set out to do. That will not do what we have brought from. So I can't live with it. So I better leave them. It's them. I left. I can't find everybody says, sir, but how do we do now? We have to manage it. Someone is very high up. We say, Oga, you have a choice. You have a farm. Some of us don't have farm. These are people close to me, and they have this mindset that you cohabit with evil because you have no choice. There's always a choice, and I picked that choice. So
I've spoken to somebody here, a very close person in the ADC, who said your fallout with Atiku. In fact, he said, number one, you have a candidate, and you have collected money from your candidate. I had to do which you said now, and it's because he didn't get it. That's why. And then secondly, and very importantly, this particular person said you met Atiku to fund you to become governor of Adamawa, and you asked for 5 billion naira. And when he refused, where do you want to get that?
I know that person. I told my lawyer to write him. I forgot his deputy national chairman.
That he said that because he said those are
that is the problem with Atiku. He gets such charlatans around him to speak for him. Now, I want to be governor of Adamawa State. Why would I need Atiku to finance me? Why would I go to Atiku?
Like you don't have money.
I don't have money, yes. And so Atiku will finance me. Why, if Atiku has that influence, why didn't he just say, this video I want? So ask Atiku for 5 billion. Does Atiku have 5 billion? For himself?
5 billion.
Talk more of giving it out to me.
So you mean Atiku does not have 5 billion?
I've not seen evidence.
No,
we're building the APC together. He had no input in building the APC in Adamawa State.
Atiku is very wealthy. That's a story out there.
I say I've not seen the evidence. I've not seen evidence in the political process system. I've not seen evidence that 5 billion to be the law. See, I always tell anybody, if I want that level of money, I have a friend now who gives out billions like that. Now, I'll simply call to him and say, sir, these things are, it's just politics.
Yes.
Like I said, they reach out to me. Some people, they reach out to me if that's what you. I said, what will I do with 5 billion?
You don't need 5 billion, sir.
What will I do with it?
Another thing, sir, they said the way you castigated Atiku, and you were specific about his ethnicity as a full animal.
Yes.
You went after him disparately.
Exactly.
But the question is that the only national position you held ever, the man who brought you to national prominence, and you've spoken so glowingly.
Yes.
Buhari, if he's looking down for you, he'll be happy the way you spoke about him. It was a Fulani man who gave you that position.
So
disparate his ethnicity.
You see, this is the problem. Fulani think that every good thing belongs to them. It's at their own pleasure that they dish it out. That's the sentiment you're trying to explain, isn't it? We have no merit, we have no qualification for anything unless the one that the Fulani man.
No, that's not it.
That's the implication.
No, the point is that you have spoken about Atiku himself, not his.
Atiku is
the entire race.
No. See, my brother, I wish I'll give you a little bit of history. In my place, I'm a Kilba man. I don't think we have to half a million people or so, because we are just sufficient to fill local government and so on. This Lawal Abia is my great-grandfather. When I was young, you can't call the name. When the jihad came and drove our people to the mountains, there was starvation because the expedition team for the Fulani people that came, they sat on the valley and was chopping our crops while our people were starving in the mountain. That man, great-grandfather Lawal, led an expedition of 3 people to the Fulani camp in the night.
Three people.
3 people, himself and 2 others. And they went and took off the head of the princess and took it up to the mountain. When morning come, the expedition force commander, Amayaji, so what happened? They didn't stay in Kilbaland that time. They didn't spend the night. They moved home. So in my place, jihad didn't conquer us. They attempted that we drove them away. So in Kilba, there are Muslims who got it by persuasion. I mean, some feel this is a good religion, you come in or whatever. Some by evangelism of Fulani, some because they want a coming appointment. There were times when if you want an appointment, you must be a Muslim or pretend to be a Fulani man in our society. So it's a system I've grown up with Fulani people trying every stage of the way to oppress us.
So, one of the former VP article's main selling point is that he's a detribalized Nigerian, even though Fulani extraction. In fact, it is alleged that the reason why the northern establishment do not really feel very comfortable with him is this is, attribute of being detribalized. So when you see article surrounding people like Laya Limoke, Emeka Ihedioha, Osita Jidoka, I mean, a lot of people surround that people. I mean, Chief Ben Obi and the rest of them.
Those are Igbos who want to be today, who don't like Peter Obi to be president now.
No, that's not true. Before Peter Obi came into politics, they've always been with. Even Peter Obi was with Atiku, sir. It was his Atiku chose him to be VP in 2019.
Atiku chose him. He was imposed on Atiku. There are history behind everything. Atiku doesn't like.
But what is your beef? What is your grouse against Atiku, apart from?
It's not personal. Let me tell you. I'll illustrate with an example. You see, there's a perception in Nigeria. You agree that the perception now nationally is that this is a Yoruba government.
Yes, of course.
You agree.
It's a perception.
It's
wrong.
Well, yeah, you say it's wrong, but there's a perception. And now, at a certain level, that perception becomes a reality. Okay, I'll give you one historical advantage. When Abiola won election, the day the result was announced, taxi was free in Kaduna. Taxi drivers were mostly Igbos. They had these Nissan cars that they were collecting for Arishokola on higher purchase basis. So most taxi was free because every Roman on the street felt that I am now. So things like that. Forget about the fact that I worked hard for Abiola. I worked hard. Actually why I worked hard for Abiola. I was actually initially working for Tofa because Tofa's running mate was an economist. And as a young businessman, I felt we needed that type of person.
Sylvester Ugo,
that's his name, Abi. Okay, so I was working hard for them. Apart from the fact that Tofa was also a northern, but I knew he was a moron. So as I was going to work one day, I saw a big poster of them. This poster, the way they do posters, the presidential candidate is life size. Then you, the vice president, you are just 4x4. I looked at that poster. It sent a message to me. So if this man wins, he will not allow the vice president any meaningful role. And it's for the vice president I'm voting for him. So I changed. I said, I better go with Abiola. So I started doing Abiola. I did Abiola. And I was coming from Lagos. I go to do contracts in CBN and come back, UB and come back from Lagos. And one day I was going to work in Lagos and I ran into anti-Fulani Hausa mob, anti-Northerner, and we escaped, left the car there. Before I came back, it was burnt. Forget the fact that I travel, I spent my money on Abiola because the street man feels that he has been aggrieved. His brother was the next president. So another example is this. 4 years ago, Fulani people went to my farm. You know what they did? It was drizzling small. So they mounted a big umbrella and sat under it. And their cows were in my rice field, eating my rice. Green rice. It was very, very beautiful to see. So when they saw my vehicle coming, they ran away. In the process, I arrested 2 and took them to police station. That Buhari time, not 4 years ago. And the police were given to write their statement. And they were so full of themselves, boasting that, you think we don't do this, our government, nothing will come out of this. Yeah, this is our people, this is our government, you see, we will not spend the night here. I was at the government too. So they didn't know, because they were told that the government is a full animal, the president, they were told. So police, okay, we'll see now. What does happen? That's their bragging at their level. Yes. They have impunity now because the Fulani man is the president. Subsequently, about 3 years ago again, Fulani entered one of my farms. I have about 7 of them and ate up my beans. Cows like beans. Just when it is about time to harvest, they eat it up. So we arrest. And then not only did they eat it up, my security men, they tried to accost them and they shot at him with an arrow. And there was a fracas because they started wrestling each other and they overpowered them and carried them to the police station. Somebody from Dubai, Fulani man, started looking for who can talk to BD. Every Fulani man, they do know him. They started about 5 or 6 of them. The police, I had your boys, police will try to talk to the police. Police say they are your farm and the police say you can't do anything about it. They should talk to you. There are people at that level. I look at these people. I started this beans farm in June and it's in November, time to harvest. And they ate it up. And this is my life. Well, so what are you telling me? You are in Dubai enjoying, and your cows have eaten up my livelihood. And you're begging me to do what? They must pay compensation. So the people have this, I don't know what to call it now. They have this collegiate system. They talk for each other. They support each other. They defend each other, even if it is a bad something.
That's a conversation we should have with, and I have them. I have quite a lot of them. I've had excellent relationship with Fulani people. Excellent relationship. So sometimes I find it difficult to reconcile all of this, but we'll do this another time. Let's wind down. El Rufai, your former schoolmate, has been in detention now approximately 149 days on an offense that is ordinarily bailable. But they've complicated this matter, bounced from one courthouse to the other, and all of those. Some have said he's only in prison because they want to decommission him from speaking out, using his immense political capital against President Tinubu. Do you think President Malam Nasir El-Rufai is a threat to President Tinubu's re-election in 2027?
No.
And is that why he's in prison?
Absolutely, he is not.
You think so?
Absolutely, he is not. But like I told you before, he's somebody like that wants to feel big.
Inflates his own personal sense of self-worth.
What he is, he quadruples it. What he's not, he depresses it. And but his influence, of course, you see, he has enormous resources, I believe, I'm sure. Even as a professional, before he went into government, he was quite a successful quantity surveyor. I knew some big projects. So he's a man of immense resources, and he has made more as FCT minister, he has made more in the years as governor, and so on. So he has enormous resources. And he can
use to do damage.
And he can use it not to do damage, he can use it to do propaganda in his own defense, like he's doing now. I mean, it's not like a simple ordinary person like me. You catch me, I don't have money to pay journalists to propaganda against. So, but you see, I don't like to comment on the justice must be done, and it must be seen to have been done justly. It doesn't matter who is, but there's life. But you see, life also has sometimes you get your own response from God while you're still alive or this art. The manner in which he did his governance is only paying the...
In Kaduna State, you mean?
Yeah, and even everywhere. You know, he's somebody that thinks power is absolute and he can deploy it to do anything that he wants. I remember one of my friends, Abdul Kadir, who was the national vice chairman of APC Northwest. He was in disagreement with Nasuru. Nasuru just went to his house and demolished it. That house was finished. It was only painting was going on. It was on a federal government plot, which was allocated to him by federal government. He had the papers, which were just demolished, just because Nasuru is a governor and he can demolish a house. That's a practical. I know another issue that when one of the chiefs, Kofana is one of the, forgotten the chief governor close to Kaduna, they invited the chief, first class chief, for a meeting on security in government house. On his way back, he was waylaid by maybe bandits now, whoever they are. They took him, killed his security man, Dogari, and took him to the bush and eventually executed him. Now, he had just left a meeting with the governor, and the state governor didn't show any sympathy. When the community started protesting, he ordered the leaders of the community, the title holders. He arrested all of them. Some of them were my church members, locked them up for that trial 1 year, like a joke. We tried to go to this court, state court, now they own the state court. We don't find a sensible judge to release them. Some of them confessed that they are under orders. I think they spent 4 or 5 years. Eventually, some of them came out heartbroken and died. And such things Nasuru is good at doing, deploying immense power to frustrate the law and deal with you. So it's you could argue that it's only fair that he's testing his own medicine, but that is not to say government should deploy that type of authority. If Nasuru did it, it was bad. If this government is doing it, it is bad. But you cannot...
I like your sense of fairness. As this government of Tinubu, have they crossed any red lines about our democracy, about the law, about the judiciary, about...
they have crossed every red line, double red line. They've crossed the first red line, the second red line. What is left there is to jump over the cliff. There's no more warning. They finish amber, yellow, green, red, no more warning. It's like a car driving towards the cliff and there's a stop sign and you think they've crashed that stop sign. I don't know.
Give us your assessments of the presidential candidates of all the political parties. Starting with, you said a few about Atiku Abubakar. Some will say you're not being fair to Atiku Abubakar.
Yes, should I be fair?
Peter Obi and the Kwankwanso, especially Adebayo Adewale of SDP, Donald Duke, even though he's been a wall, I've not seen him anywhere. Omoye, can you speak about this presidential? What are their chances against President Tinubu?
No, I cannot assess their chances. Only God can do that. I have my own opinion.
Who are you backing?
I've not made up my mind. I'm on sabbatical, as I tell everybody. But I can tell you that, definitely, Atiku will lose. He will, and I will pray he loses. I'm not the only one, and he will lose. And if it's between Bola Tinubu and Atiku, any day I'll choose Bola Tinubu. So that's clear for me. Peter is my friend. And indeed, before I came here, we're supposed to have spoken, but so Peter will be Kwankwaso. They will make a good team. For one, Peter Obi will try to be fair to everybody. Peter Obi will try to do that which is right for the people, for everybody. And with the backing of Kwankwaso, will do well. better than this government. But true, let me tell you, if I had my way, this boy, what did you call him, SDP?
Adebayo, Adewale.
You know, I was analyzing these people with my close friend, and Adebayo. He claims Adebayo.
You know him very well.
I don't know him, but I hear, I listen to him. We've met 1 or 2 times. He has come to my office. You know, I reach the position where people want to sound mad. He has come to me, but I've listened to him on television on the basis of his speech, the way he talks. He will make an excellent president. He's youthful. He understands the economy. He understands what the society is going through. And I hope he's humble. I wouldn't know that. And I hope he's not just a typical Yoruba man like my friend. But Adebayo will make a good president, I believe. Who again did you say? Shawara is my friend. If not for people like Shawara, all Nigerians would have been in prison. I classify Shawara in the manner of Ganifa Wemi. If not for people like them who put government on his doors, government will just trample over everybody. So God bless his soul. He's one of those that fights for our liberty that we're enjoying now. But
Donald Duke
is my friend. He didn't tell me he was contesting. He's a nice guy, you know, decent, handsome.
Handsome.
Yes, I don't know. He was a good governor when he was a governor. So I hope it translates. So my position, my option, I can tell you now, 1, 2, 3. If I had my way, that boy, Adebayo, Adewale, number 1, with 100%. Number 2, Peter Obi, Kwankwaso. Take note, I'm pairing them individually to be disaster, but I'm pairing them. So I'll give them on my own scale. They'll be close to like 70%. And who again? Bola, 50, Atiku, 0. In that order. Why do you call it personal? As he wants to be my leader. I have a right to critique him. And I know him more than you do. And I know his antecedents. I know his character, personal. You know, I know it. I can say a text I said to him in December. I'm not doing it because of, I tried to work with him. I tried. I stepped out my way to work with him until it wasn't possible for us to
Let
work.
me put you on the spot. If Rotimi Amechi had clinched the ticket, compare him to all these other people.
Which others?
Adebayo, Adewale, Bola Tinubu, Showore. If Rotimi Amechi had won the ADC ticket, would he have remained in ADC and would you back him?
Unfortunately
You were together in the Buhari government.
Yes, no, I know him very well. Yes, we know each other. We communicate very well. We don't socialize, but we communicate very well. And well, it's just unfortunate that because of his maybe personal excessive ambition, he decides to pair with the devil.
Are you being fair to Atiku, sir? Causing Atiku to the devil?
He doesn't say Atiku's name now.
Well, who is he pairing
Why are
with?
you putting words in my mouth? I don't allow.
It's a simple logical conclusion.
Well, it's
Who
not-
is he pairing with? He's only pairing with one person. But I want you to Lancer.
I mean, and then now he will damage his political career. First of all, now his plank was it was the turn of the South to produce the president. Along the way, anytime they asked him whether he was angling for vice president, he said he's not angling for vice president. And I was disappointed that he has joined I used to look at him as somebody of integrity. He's quite religious, which I appreciate. But so I had high regard of him in terms of a man who keeps his words. And my own calculation is that his character, his disposition is one that he cannot function effectively in an Atiku environment. But he has chosen to, because he's hoping that Atiku will do only 4 years, and that might give him the advantage to become president. It's inordinate, but that's who he is, and that's what he wants. But I have nothing against him. He has discussed with me along the lines of what are my concerns in politics, and he understands my concerns, and he has mouthed some latitudes, or what did they say, how he will address them if we're to be president. And so he's somebody like that. He's energetic, and overall my assessment of him as a human being, as a person, is positive. But as a leader, I don't know. Because he's brash, he's something like that. He's another version of Wiki.
Really?
Almost. Polish. But better than Wiki, but if that is where he'll be a Wiki. So that's what it is. But me, Adewale, Adewale, I doubt his resources and his political reach. But even if he doesn't make it, he's one of those people that we should invest in for a Nigeria of the future. Adewale, there are quite a lot of others maybe hidden in the shadows that we don't know. But if we, at the last resort in this dispensation, I'm on sabbatical, but I'm under pressure to come out of my sabbatical. If I were to come back, I would go with Peter Obi and Kwankwaso. If I were to come out, I would go with them.
Okay, fantastic. Now, final question, sir. What possibilities exist for defeating President Tinubu in the forthcoming elections? Is it possible to defeat him?
First of all, there's the God factor. Yes. With God, all things are possible. And second, one of the things that is happening is that Bola Tinubu, I doubt if he has the physical ability to go through a rigorous campaign, physically and other internal health issues. So I read it as if he's not ready for a contest, because that will make it help him avoid the physical campaign. So he will try other means. I know my man now. We used to be together. And surprisingly, I know quite a lot of the things they do to win election, you know. We used to operate together. My thinking now is this. The result for the 2023 election is already written. 2027 election is already written.
Wow.
All that is required is for the processes to exhaust themselves.
So it's still being written towards
why are you talking of script? It's not the script. Script is still theoretical now. As it has been written. Wow. The script was written 3 years ago. So it is now, the result is there, or the methodology is there. And two things. Why do you think he purchased the opposition governors? Because first of all, that has denied the opposition access to funds. All the state governors are now with him. So no opposition has access to funds to compete against him. Number two, the governors, because of the support they have from him, has encouraged them to be very cavalier in the manner in which they are spending state resources.
They administer their states,
so now it's in their interest to make sure
they deliver.
They deliver, and they not for themselves, because opposition will come and so they will work hard. They will do what they did in 2023, which our friend Nasser Rufai claimed they did for him. They will do the same thing. So now look at it. If my state, Adamawa State, if Adamu Fintiri is going to deliver Adamawa by hook or crook, more by crook, and Borno is going to deliver Borno to by crook, and Yobe by crook, Gombe by crook, Taraba by crook, Kaduna, Kano, all those northwest states, the whole state except Bauchi, you know, the 19 states, before Abuja the 28th, you know, by crook, they'll all deliver. They'll write the results. They will allow you to go to the polling unit and pretend that INEC will do some oju and announce the result that has already been handed over to them, I think, and that's the end. And now the problem would be the reaction of the people to that. And my own assessment is that every Nigerian will just remain in his house, you know, in trouble.
The candidates will go to the courts.
The candidates will go to their courts, and the sons will collect billions of naira and impoverish them further, and then that's the end. And the Nigerians will succumb to what we used to say in the military. With one bullet in a rifle, you can get 1,000 people to surrender, because nobody wants to take that one bullet. So every Nigerian will just go home and sleep. Some will not even come out that day. But after the election, a lot of people will do some gradual protest and collect money from people and try to protest. After some time, they fizzle out, and that's the end. We prepare for another 4 years. But they can deceive themselves and pretend they are campaigning. For every political party rigged the primaries now. Up to now, they just wrote names. Every SDP, NDP, all these PPP, they are still fighting. There's no party
even
that,
NDC too.
especially NDC. Everybody can beat each other. We did a free and fair primaries. So what moral complaint do they have?
Are you afraid that President Tinubu, as it's been alleged by some, that he may go the route of tenure elongation, third term?
Bola Tinubu will go third term. If God gives him the long life to do it, he will.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, he will. What will stop him now? Blind Nigerians or a blind National Assembly of crooks? Bola Tinubu will go third term, subject to his health.
Wow. It's been such a pleasure having you on the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's been such an interesting conversation.
Yeah, so that's the end of that. I wanted us to really take this video.
Navon, the number one
document it, at least on my channel, just so we talk about it. Everything he said is on point. Everything he said is on point. I mean, he really spilled a lot of truth that we all actually should know. I mean, if nobody knows, that one, we can't even argue with it. We can't, you know, because at the end of the day, right, Nigerians have to tell themselves, are they ready? Are they ready? Because these people are not backing down. There's a video circulating that Tinubu made saying that it's not that the institutions that, what's it called? INEC is working as it should. There's nothing that the opposition is their shadow that is pursuing them. Let me see if I can bring that video for you guys. Let's quickly take it. Can bring it. Be like saying that be this one. There's two actually. So I'll play this and then I'll bring another one. Okay, bear with me here. I just want to pull up. I just want to make sure I have those videos readily available for you guys. These people are not, Tinubu is not ready to let go. You have to be prepared. Bam. Okay, I'll start with this. Then we'll move forward. Hold on 1 second. Let me share this tab. Okay.
I don't run away from what I inherited. I inherited the challenges. Am I doing something about it? Yes. I can tell you I'm doing something about it. And there will be resources to equip them, build new barracks, build stations, arm them, and defeat terrorism. All is fair in politics. And it's equal opportunity. INEC, you mentioned, are neutral. They've never intimidated anybody. If political opponents are crying wolves, maybe they are afraid of their own shadows and the uncertainty in the companies they keep. Not me. I don't run away from what I inherited. I inherited the challenges. Am I doing something about it? Yes. I can tell you I'm doing something about it. And there will be resources to equip them, build new barracks, build stations, arm them, and defeat terrorism. All is fair in politics. And it's equal opportunity. INEC, you mentioned, are neutral. They've never intimidated anybody. If political opponents are crying wolves, maybe they are afraid of their own shadows and the uncertainty in the companies they keep. Not me. I don't run away from what I inherited. I inherited the challenges. Am I doing something about it? Yes. I can tell you I'm doing something about it. And there will be resources to equip them, build new barracks, build stations, arm them, and defeat terrorism. All is fair in politics. And it's equal opportunity. INEC, you mentioned, are neutral. They've never intimidated anybody. If political opponents are crying wolves, maybe they are afraid of their own shadows and the uncertainty in the companies they keep. Not me. I don't run away from what I inherited. I inherited the challenges. Am I doing something about it? Yes. I can tell you I'm doing something about it. And there will be resources to equip them, build new barracks, build stations, arm them, and defeat terrorism. All is fair in politics. And it's equal opportunity. INEC, you mentioned, are neutral. They've never intimidated anybody. If political opponents are crying wolves, maybe they are afraid of their own shadows and the uncertainty in the companies they keep. Not me. I don't run away from what I inherited. I inherited the challenges. Am I doing something about it? Yes. I can tell you I'm
Now
doing.
don't hear Amabi. Okay, let's move on to the latest one. He don't tell now. So if you not like as Nigerians, don't the guy not send. He has can you imagine defending INEC? Somebody that is defending INEC and saying INEC is a shadow of opposition that is pursuing them. Tells you you
I inherit the asset and liability of my predecessor. That's what. And I've been running with it. But this government has stabilized, and there's prosperity on the horizon. The quality of life is improving. Our founding fathers did their best. They leave us a nation, and we owe it to our generations to build a nation.
I won't offer them a red carpet. We will wrestle each other to the
Unity,
finish line.
stability.
Let's not bother. Let me just slam it as it is. Anyway, that's it. That's all. That's all I've got for you guys. I'll see you on my next one. Bye.